Okay, hi, welcome back to Reading for Pleasure 2. Okay, we are recording tonight's segment. We are actually going to have a debate based off of a question in the story The Cranes that we were reviewing. Okay, and the debate is a question, and the question is, should assisted suicide be legal? I'm wearing a mask because unfortunately I had an allergic reaction to a different mask I was using. Okay, and so we're going to have Benny explain to us why he thinks assisted suicide should be illegal. Then Nina is going to follow up with why it should be legal. And then Paul is going to follow up with why it should be illegal. Okay, go ahead, Benny.
Okay, yeah, I totally disagree to legalize the assisted suicide. The reasons are following. First, expansion of the assisted suicide might cause the additional harm through the suicide uh, contagion.
Okay.
Yes, according to a research from the Oregon, which is the first state that legalized assisted suicide in 1997. And the number of the assisted suicides increased each year at an average of 12.1% during the 1998 to 2013. So this research suggested that the high-profile assisted suicide leads to more assisted suicide, probably more general suicide.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Because the options available, more people use it. Okay.
Yes. More
And
people
that
will
could be
select that. Yeah. And second, and the assisted suicides might cause the depression in advanced illness. The recent study points out that up to half of patients with the cancer suffer from the symptom of the depression. And the elderly also suffer from high rate of the depression and suicide. In Oregon, greater than 30% of the patients who select assisted suicide are elderly and have cancer, but fewer than 5% are referred to a psychologist to rule out the depression. And last, the human life is a certain fundamental natural right, which cannot be taken by everybody, even though yourself.
Very good. Very good. Excellent. Excellent presentation of information. So it looks like with the data and using Oregon as an example,
yes,
there have been more increases in suicides in general as a result of assisted suicide being available. And
yeah,
also
they have chance to do it, you know.
They'll do it. And then also too, it seems like the people who opt for assisted suicide don't have the terminal illnesses that would normally qualify them for such a procedure.
Yes.
Okay,
Definitely.
very good, very good, excellent. Nina, you are arguing for assisted suicide being legal. Go ahead.
I just wanted to clarify that what I'm arguing is that it should be legal, but only for medical purposes. And
okay.
I was not sure what is the exact definition of euthanasia, and it appears that it is the exact definition is that it's a painless killing of a patient suffering from an incurable pain, incurable disease or painful disease or an irreversible coma. So I'm quoting a definition. So that is my belief that if it's for the medical purposes, it shall be legal, because I believe that in a civilized society, people should be able to choose to die in a dignity and without any pain if they're suffering from any incurable disease, and they should be allowed. Other people should be allowed to help them to make such decisions. I strongly believe that our bodies believe to us, and we should be allowed to do whatever we want with them. And if someone is suffering from a terrible pain, or is certain that they do not want to continue their life, it is wrong to make them continue their life. And in fact, I think that it is against human rights, and also it is immoral to make people live in such horrible pain and not have the opportunity to decide what they want to do with their bodies. If they have no future, I don't know, no chances of living happily in this world.
Okay, just to clarify, you say medical purposes. So for example, if I, I had surgery recently, and I have pain sometimes in the surgical site, right? And sometimes it really, really bothers me. I should not look for that, right?
I think that it cannot be black and white. It should be regulated. It should be based on medical, at least two doctors' medical opinion that it is something incurable. It is something that the patient is suffering and cannot be reversed to the positive outcome. If you just had a surgery, very easy one, and thanks God you are doing fine and you will be healthy for the rest of your life, there is no reason to justify assisted suicide.
Very good. I was looking for you to qualify it. So it sounds like you're saying for somebody who's terminal, who has
yes.
disease, there's no hope for recovery.
If we go into details, I think it is also reasonable for the patient to meet before he or she makes this decision, or while she's making such decision. It's reasonable to meet with a mental health professional to evaluate whether this patient is thinking clearly, or whether it is just because he or she is suffering from also mental condition caused from the terminal illness.
Very good, very good, very good. Paul, you've been very patient. Paul? Is your audio working?
I think you're muted, Paul.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
It's okay. It's okay. So are you arguing for or against?
Against against the legality of euthanasia.
Yes. Why?
Well, I'm gonna make it simple and concise because I don't have all those data from the internet. Well, 2 points. First, in a religion aspect, I still believe in the sanctity of life.
Keep going.
And then second one, I'm just afraid that some nincompoops will try to exploit and abuse the system.
I never thought about that. Keep going.
Say, I'm gonna cite an example. Say, for example, a wealthy human being, and then the family members and the doctor might conspire to end the life of the patient, even though the patient still wants to, continue the treatment.
Very good. Very good.
Just because they knew from the fact that in his will, in his last will and testament, he will give out all the wealth to the family members.
Good point. That's a very good point. Can I get one more for assisted suicide, Christine?
Yes, I would like to present my points.
Okay, go ahead.
For the statement, I think that I want to just sum up Nina's point earlier that it is a kind of, from a humanitarian point of view, it is kind of a dignity. It's kind of going down to you have the right to remain with dignity. If someone with terminally ill condition has no hope at all to get treatment and will remain in suffering and pain, if his life continues, then it is kind of against human right to allow that person to suffer when the alternative is available. And also, I just wanted to emphasize that under the Constitution, people are entitled to the right for freedom, liberty, and etc., like freedom of speech. So you have the liberty to end your life when life is becoming so insufferable, and why that would be a illegal part if that's clearly outlined underneath the Constitution. And second of all, I just want to address it from a legal point of view. I think that right now, people like murder is considered when someone ended other people's life, and that inevitably harmed society and harm other people. But just ending someone's life because the life is not worth living from a medical point of view has no point to either that victim's life or other his family member's life. There's no such condition that constitutes a murder or manslaughter case in the legal sense of view. So I don't really think it is, I don't think there's any ground if the counterparty argues that, you know, ending someone's life will constitute a illegal case in my point of view.
I think if you, what Paul was trying to say earlier was more of that the family members and the doctor, in his example, could conspire to commit murder vis-a-vis assisted suicide. So
Right, I
yeah.
understand that. I think that, of course, the details, like Nina said, has to be laid out in clear-cut protocol. Like, I agree that there should be some sort of counseling, and there should be some sort of evaluation on that victim's potential hope, likelihood of getting treated, or at least having the pain to be alleviated to a certain extent. But if the evaluation has been done and there's absolutely no hope to alleviate the pain, either mentally or physically, there's, in my view, is kind of inhumane, and there's groundless to continue someone's suffering and pain.
Very good discussion. We ended up doing this debate because the story that we read called The Cranes by Paul Menke. And in the story, a husband and wife take a vacation to the Gulf of Mexico, but really it is for the husband to end the wife's suffering. And as a group, we interpret that as perhaps a murder suicide, but the wife wants her life to end because she feels as if she's a burden on the family. So the debate came from the actual text and whether assisted suicide should be legal. You guys did a great job. We
I
have,
would like to add some point
go
to
ahead.
the, well, according to Christine, she wants to be on the strictest rules and regulation
Remember,
to
it's everybody.
to implement, to implement the, what do you call that, euthanasia. But here in the United States and all over the world, we have the strictest rule, but people can still find a way to circumvent it. You know.
It is possible. It is possible on both ends. This is why this is such an interesting topic, because there are legitimate points on both sides. And for me personally, I've been in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I can't say quite sure if it should be legal or if it should be illegal. This is a very, very good segment, class. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to stop the recording right here. And I really appreciate the work you put into this. Excellent.